Hey guys, it's Evan the Cat King here with another video talking about Disventure Camp. This one is talking about the newly released Staff Stories series of Disventure Camp. If you haven't been keeping up with Disventure Camp since All Stars ended, they have been releasing weekly new episodes of a spin-off show called Staff Stories, where we get a look into some of the staff characters and get like a bit of backstory and stuff, or see where they are now, and getting some new context behind certain characters, and seeing like just things that have happened and how they like certain characters got to where they are now. Just a lot, it's a video. It's a series about the staff. It's staff stories. I don't know why it took me so long to just explain that. It's literally in the title, staff stories. But I thought, it finished. There was 4 episodes, and so we got all 4 episodes, and now I thought, how about I now give my insight into what I thought about this series. And straight off the bat, I liked it. I liked Staff Stories. This really is giving me more hope when it comes to Disventure Camp and season 4. Like seeing it as more like this is like giving me hope for there being good like storytelling and stuff. And I think that Disventure Camp All Stars didn't have the worst in terms of storytelling. It just had like inconsistencies, which and like just like not great decisions. But the story behind it was pretty good. So like the story of Rhea like being a jerk. Like obviously they went a little hard into her being completely evil, but that idea is really good, and that's what this show's idea is really interesting. I really liked this, and I think all 4 episodes are good. At least for the most part, all 4 episodes are pretty good. So in this video, I have a couple things that I want to do in this video. One is going to be a ranking of the 4 episodes at the end of the video. So if you want to skip forward to that, you can. But before we do that, I would like to bring up the fact that I want this to continue. I want there to be more seasons, waves. I don't know what you want to what to call it, but I want more episodes of this. I think that this is a really good idea of a show, and I think that it should continue. I think that there's a lot of potential with this, and I want to see it. I want to see more of it, so we're gonna start things off. I'm going to bring up four more episodes because there were 4 episodes this time, and I want to give 4 ideas for a possible, like future, like wave of episodes, future season, and because I think that Staff Stories is a great idea, and I think I want to see more out of this. So let's get into 4 ideas for future Staff Stories episodes that I have. Okay, so the first episode that I came up with is an episode about Oliver and Kristoff. Kristoff is Crystal's dad. And I think that it would be an interesting idea because I think one thing is I want an episode that's centered around Oliver. I would love to see more of Oliver. And I think an episode about how he ends up becoming an intern of Kristoff would be a very interesting episode. So that's an episode that I think that's a good idea for a future episode. If again, this is only if they continue to make these, and I hope that they do. And I think that this would be a good idea for an episode. So that's the first idea I have, an episode about Oliver and Kristoff and how that whole internship started. Next, I think an episode about the meeting of Jensen and Trevor and Derek would also be another good episode. An episode about how Disventure Camp started. We got a bit of that kind of. We got the like origins of how like the two like like got the show like created, but how do they end up meeting up with Jensen? How do they end up like completing like actually getting the show to be made? How does that happen? How does the like interactions between them and Jensen end up happening? How do they get the show to actually be made? That's a question, and I think that would be a good episode to explore in the future. So number 2 is Derek and Trevor's meeting of Jensen. Next, I don't have anything really specific to say about this, but I want an episode about Emily. I need to see either what happens to Emily after All Stars or like what like something about her before All Stars. I just feel like there needs to be I want to see more of Emily because her character ended off in a very weird and negative place. So I feel like getting like some like context maybe behind like maybe some of her decisions like we got with Jensen in the first episode. I think that would be nice. So I think that an episode just about Emily I feel like that would be a good place to go with it. I don't really know what the episode would really be about, just that I think that Emily should get an episode of Staff Stories. Now, the final episode idea that I came up with was just another episode about Crystal. I feel like Crystal is one of the most interesting characters in terms of like the staff. So, I think that we should get an episode about her childhood more. We got to the episode that we did get from her wasn't really what I expected, and I want to see more of her backstory, I guess. And I think that just giving a deeper dive into her childhood would be very interesting in my opinion. So I think that we should get more of her as a kid or like younger, like teenager. Like I think that seeing like her how she was at that age and how her dad like not being around affected her more. I feel like that would just be a lot better than just like her like showing us it rather than having adult her telling us about it. So I think that we should get an episode about Crystal's childhood rather than just like make reference to it. So that is the final idea that I have. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, we got those are my 4 ideas for for 4 more episodes of Staff Stories. Some of them might be able like those were just like random ideas that I had. Some of them could probably be switched out. If you guys have any better ideas, let me know. I feel like that would be I'd love to hear some of your ideas for Staff Stories. But now I'm going to finish off this video, I will be ranking the 4 episodes. I've decided that this one, I usually do it from like my least favorite to my most favorite. But this time I think I'm gonna do it the other way around. We're gonna start with my most favorite of the Staff Story episodes and then work our way down to my least favorite of the Staff Stories. So let's get into the ranking. Now, this might be entirely recency biased as to why this is my favorite, but Trevor and Derek's episode 4 is my favorite currently. It might be recency biased because as I'm recording this, it was literally yesterday that it came out. So, yeah, it might come down to recency bias, but I like this episode. I think it's really good. I think that, the like seeing how the two of them met and how they weren't actually friends right away was really interesting. It was a nice touch. I think that it makes a lot of sense because the two of them, you know, like thinking about how like who they are as people, it's like how did they become friends and seeing that they ended up becoming friends through the show, that like the show kind of brought them together as friends, and then obviously later to become a couple now, is really, I think that that just adds so much more to their relationship, especially like with the show. And like it gave a lot of like good stuff for Derek. I think Derek as a character in this was really good, showing that it was his idea, like, and he had it for so long, and then seeing people try to like kind of take it away from him is really an interesting idea. And ultimately him, Trevor, allowing for him to like take back control, like take back control after like the dude like stepped away for the year. So now it's Derek's idea again, and Trevor is going along with it. It's a I think it's a really good episode. I think the story is great, and the dynamic between Trevor and Derek is different than what we usually see, and I really enjoyed it. My one thing leaving this is just like, what happened to Moose? Where is Moose now? That's my big question. What happened to that dude? What happened to, did Derek just abandon his former best friend? I'm just like wondering. I'm wondering if we'll ever see Moose again in some, at some point down the line, but either way, hey, maybe have hope. Maybe it'll end up being, Moose will end up being a part of season 4. Maybe Moose will end up being like a staff member on season 4. He'll be the bus driver now. That would be kind of cool. But either way, my favorite of the 4 episodes was episode 4, being Trevor and Derek's episode. Coming in as my second favorite is going to be episode 1 and Jensen's episode. I think that Jensen's episode, it was a great start to the Staff Stories series, and I think it's just really good. It does like get into like the things of like stuff that I have realized more as time goes on, that just everyone has a dark backstory. But for Jensen, I don't have a problem with it for Jensen because of how he is as a character, because he is a bad guy in in the show. He's a villain. He's not a good person, but it gives us context as to why he does bad things, why he did the things that are mentioned in season 1, and it's based around like, oh, what happened to his sister in the past. And I think it fits with Jensen's character, and it actually made me like, it's funny that it made me root for this guy when he's like just a really not a good person, but it managed to make me feel sympathetic for him and like kind of root for him, which on one hand is like, okay, why are you making me like the guy that like committed freaking animal genocide basically? But I still, I think that it was just handled pretty well. I'd say Jensen, I'm kind of interested where Jensen is now. I'm wondering if he's gonna become a part of season 4, maybe. I don't know. But either way, I think that Jensen's episode was a great start. I don't really have too many like issues with it, and I don't really have that much to say about it. I'd say I enjoyed it. And yeah. Now we have Crystal's episode, and with that, you can know now which is my least favorite after this one. But either way, I think I don't really have too much to say about Crystal's episode. Again, I do really enjoy. I do like all these episodes. I'll let me preference that. I do like all these episodes. I just like Crystal's and last place episode a bit less than the other two. Maybe not a bit less. But ultimately, I think Crystal's episode left a lot to be desired, I guess. It was interesting. It was good to see who her father is, and like, I mean, on one hand, I'm kind of sad that they retconned it so it's not Chris anymore, which, I mean, obviously there's a reason for that. They can't really have it be Chris, otherwise that gets into a lot of, not like, that gets into like copyright infringement stuff. But ultimately, Crystal is interesting in this, but I feel like, and I brought it up that, like, in my ideas, in that, like, I want to see more of her childhood, and that's kind of what I was hoping for with this episode. We didn't get much of what Crystal was in the past, which is what I kind of expected from these episodes. I was thinking, okay, we're gonna get to see how the characters were in the past and how they got to where they were at. But no, for Crystal, it was after All Stars, and I just found that kind of weird. But it's still a good episode. But I just don't think that if its story is as good as the two that I put before it. So yeah, Crystal's episode comes in as my, like, third favorite, second least favorite. I don't know. Now, coming in at last place is the episode of Marcus and Nina. And now, again, I don't dislike this episode, but I think that I like it, but I don't think that everything here I'm not really too thrilled about. I mean, this is the one that fits in more with what I said in Jensen when I was talking about Jensen, in that everyone has a dark backstory. Marcus probably didn't need that dark of a dark backstory. Marcus is one of the more, like, light-hearted characters. So for it to end up being like, oh, his daughter and, like, wife, I get, maybe not his wife. I don't know what the, I like what it was with with his daughter's mom. I don't know entirely what that was. But ultimately, the fact that, like, his, like, daughter died is, like, it's very sad, and gives insight into why he is protective, like, of Nina, the doll, because, like, but at the same time, it also just makes it, like, kind of weird, like, this seemingly just, like, all nice dude, this dude who is just, like, very protective of people, and it's like for four, like, I didn't really see much issue, like, I didn't see any, like, really bad things about him. And well, it's not really bad, but he replaced his daughter with a doll. Like, that's kind of, that's I don't know how I feel about that. And also, it didn't get into certain things that I kind of was interested in, and, like, how was Nina made? Like, I was kind of coming into this thinking, kind of hoping for this to be kind of like a Pinocchio situation. That's what I think that's what I thought it would be, and what I think it should have been. It should have just been, I think that the best option for that would have just been, oh, Marcus created Nina, and then she ended up, like, becoming alive. Like, you could even keep his daughter died, and you could be like, he made the doll based on his daughter, and then maybe it got possessed by his daughter. So it is I feel like that would have been more interesting, rather than it just being like, oh, Nina was part of a toy line, and they were just all alive and evil, and it just made me think, how did that happen, and all that stuff. Plus, I find it weird that it felt like it wasn't always about Marcus. It felt, most of the time, it felt like it was more about the other characters, like the paranormal, like, investigative people. Like, I don't know why. Like, I like those. Like, it made me more interested in them than it did Marcus, and it made me kind of upset that he, like, turned on them in the end. So ultimately, again, I like the episode, but I think that there are just certain things in it that make it so my enjoyment of it isn't nearly as much as the other episodes of Staff Stories. But ultimately, I still like it. I still enjoyed it, and but just certain things had me questioning why. So yeah, Marcus and Nina's episode is my least favorite of the Staff Stories. And there you go. That is my thoughts on Disventure Camp staff stories. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and leave a like, subscribe, let me know if you think I'm an idiot, if you let me know if you hate me, you know. The people who say that, okay, good for you. I found it funny that someone, I won't get into that, but either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a great day. I hope I didn't ruin your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.